in the late end of February in 2024. Where has the year gone? Great to hear from you all. Thank you so much for reaching out with your questions recently. My apologies for not being able to get these sessions up and running as efficiently as I usually do. Now, a lot of your questions have certainly been centered around AI, Copilot from Microsoft, and other tools like OpenAI's ChatGPT-4. I do want to address a couple of those quick points around Microsoft Copilot because we will be running an actual webinar session in series with Varonis as well as Microsoft to give you a bit more detail about that. So I'll cover those quick topics off. Now, there are a lot of questions from yourselves around VMware. Obviously, the acquisition by Broadcom created a number of concerns within the community, including that they have discontinued a number of their original programs. Education programs have been removed, for example, as well as the fact they have discontinued the free version of VMware known as ESXi. So go into a bit of detail about that, but you're more than welcome to throw comments in the chat below. I will get back to you as soon as possible. Feel free to always send through your questions. It's always great to hear from you all. So, quick one, Microsoft Copilot. We've all heard much about this. Obviously it's a promising solution around productivity, simply integrating OpenAI's ChatGPT functions within the Microsoft platform. However, as they say, with great responsibility comes great privileges that you need to consider. So what are we talking about? And this is the security risks as well as the considerations around what access Microsoft Copilot gets to your platform and your whole tenancy within Microsoft. So extensive data access is one of the points we talked about, that it has access at some point to sensitive organizational data. This can raise concerns around data privacy and, of course, protection. You talk about the oversharing of that. So Copilot can create new sensitive data quickly because that means it can have access to so many various areas within your organization. It can potentially create oversharing of confidential information. This, again, goes back to permissions, having an understanding of what the permissions are within your organization's file structures, file access, for example. And of course, that leads to the lack of inherent security labels. Of course, we have a lot of a tendency to just create files, create shares, and not necessarily apply the required security parameters behind it. Again, overly permissive data access is a problem, and again, permission control and data classification. Now, because of the fact that this stuff is something we need to majorly consider, we do have a Microsoft Copilot assessment program. It's certainly available to yourselves as prospects as well as our customers, and it is a free service. So feel free to reach out if you're interested. My colleague David has just joined us. Welcome to the call, David.
Hey everyone, how are you?
Now, one of the things you and I have heard a lot of questions about, and it's certainly something that we are getting more and more addressed conversations about, is the VMware Broadcom acquisition, right? And I was certainly talking about this earlier in our briefing. One of the big concerns is VMware have removed certain programs, obviously discounted education programs, removed the free version of ESXi, and are increasing prices and removing annual subscriptions. So we've heard about this. What are the potential impacts? What are we hearing?
Well, I think, people are concerned about, what's going to happen with my environment. Certainly the commercial aspects, of what is already an expensive product. How, and we have, conversations, it feels like daily.
Yes.
How do I, help consolidate, my spend around VMware and what are my options, and the good news is there are options available now.
I love your point. Very good. One of the things we also need to consider is that, sure, VMware and legacy VMware stacks are certainly something that have been a concern for many of you. And you've said that to us a number of times, where I have some old applications or some old operating systems that I don't want to touch. And if I do, I have to either refactor them or I have to consider licensing them on VMware. Now, there are certainly a ton of options out there I can suggest that you could talk to. Feel free to reach out if any of those are a topic you'd like to hear a bit more about. But prime example would be porting that from a VMware environment to a cloud-native status platform such as Fluid. Now, you're welcome to look up fluidhq.io for more information around that platform, but it certainly gives people that option. And it is something that's natively available, as an example, through Equinix, right?
100%. And I think the good news for everyone out there, it's not an either or discussion.
Correct.
You can live in that hybrid zone. The workloads where VMware is the best fit, you can leave them there. and in other areas maybe not so much. You can live in two worlds.
Totally. And to your point, if you are considering going to the cloud, have a chat with us. I mean, there are optimization programs to look at going into Microsoft Azure as an example. There are optimizations into GCP, which is Google Cloud, and of course, the big beast, Amazon AWS. So if any of that is something that you'd like to consider, feel free to reach out so we can give you some ideas around what the considerations are. You can't just lift and shift. Common misconception at an existing on-premise infrastructure, it is not viable for you to lift and shift and then refactor once inside, because the costs will be extraordinary. Okay, keep that in mind. So thanks very much. I think we're great on that, especially from the VMware perspective. There are going to be a lot of disruptions to customers over the next few months as Broadcom makes more announcements and more changes to their reseller and distribution panels. So keep that in mind. Upcoming events, we have a number of them we will be doing. I will be doing a speaking event in June. I will let you know more about that and in the coming weeks. So thank you very much to everyone for reaching out so that I can present and help you present more information to your audience. Other ones are, we're going to be doing, I did say, a Microsoft Copilot assessment.
Yes, we're excited about that one.
Yeah, it's coming up very soon. I will announce more details. Reason for this is it's not just about what Microsoft Copilot can do, but your considerations of what you need to be prepared for. And that is why we have partnered with both Varonis and Microsoft to be able to deliver that. We'll be working with HP in the coming months to give you guys a breakfast session around VMware alternatives. So more than happy for you to all reach out, and then we can book you a seat. Seats will be very, very limited for that session, and definitely come as quickly as you can to sign up to those. Other than that, I think there's another couple of sessions we've got on.
Yes, and now our Friends of ASC.
That's right.
Quarterly.
We will be having our Friends of Quarterly ASC event. Please feel free to reach out. It will be in the week just before the Easter break, so we'd love to have you come and attend. Please, by all means, it's always great to see you all and connect. But I think in the meantime, there's plenty of information for you to consume right there. There will be a session that I'll be putting on very soon around Microsoft Intune. So if you are interested in understanding more about Intune, how it can benefit you, what it can do to secure your environment, please let me know, because this session will be done with my lead technician, Nick Martin from ASC, and he will be going through it with me a bit more detail. I know we have had a lot of questions around this. Understand that there are platforms that support both Mac, for example, Jamf, and we certainly look after that as well. But Intune has been one that is a lot of questions about. So please be careful out there. Make sure you think before you click. And then obviously, if you have any questions, reach out. David and I are more than happy to help. And I look forward to reigniting these sessions, these top tech tip sessions with you all. So until then, be safe. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone. And I'll see you this time.